everyone, it's Jill Foster here for Penny Black. Thanks for joining us today as we continue to take a peek at the brand new dyes from Penny Black's newest collection, Sweet Spring. All of these new products will be available in our online store beginning Friday, February 16th. And before we begin, I just wanted to mention that this video is designed to help you take a closer peek at our new collection and share some tips and hints as to how some of the cards were created. But don't worry, we will also have instructional videos coming very soon that feature some of these new products and card designs. Today we will take a closer look at our new creative dies that feature sweet stitches. And if you look closely, you will also see lots of other new stamps and dies, and we'll have more on those to come over the next couple of weeks. This first creative die, called Rows of Stitches, is a jaw dropper once you cut it in person. It is so delicate and really versatile. I loved using it on several cards. And just a note before we go any further, I wanted to mention that you will see a complete list of product numbers used on each card shown on screen in light gray. And any of those Penny Black product numbers can be referenced in the Penny Black online store or website beginning February 16th when this release is made available. Now, I think with some dies, it's really helpful to see the actual metal die itself. So here's just a little snapshot of mine. And you can position this die anywhere on your card to create this row of stitches. So on this next card, I positioned it both on the left and right of my background, and I then accentuated the stitches by adding inks on top using an ink blending tool and foam pad. And on this card, after running the die through my machine with my paper, I trimmed on each side of the stitches, creating a border panel I could layer onto my background. Our next closer look is at our creative die set, Stitched Stackers. And this is another fabulous set which adds a fun finished border to your die cutting. And here I layered two die cut panels together to give a nearly white on white background some extra dimension. And again, I think it's helpful with this style of die to see the actual metal dies themselves. So here's another little look at mine. And you can do so many different things with this set. So for example, on the left, you can see I ran two of the dies together through my die cutting machine, and this creates a frame. And by using different sizes of dies together, you can come up with lots of different configurations and sizes of frames. Or if you just want to cut a full panel, as shown on the right, just run one through your die cutting machine. So here's a look at some cards with these. On this card, I created a frame using the Stitch Stackers to set. And while I didn't create one here, I think this style of card would be great for a shaker card, and the frame die makes it really easy to create those. And here's another card where I've used just a frame cut with this die set. And again, here's another frame, but this one's a bit smaller. And to add interest to the frame, I layered one of the banners from our Birds and Banners die set along the bottom part of the frame. And now here's an example of using a full panel cut with the Stitch Stackers. And I love how the bold stitching really picks up with background inking. So by applying the ink to white cardstock with an ink blending tool and a foam pad after it has been die cut, it instantly accentuates the beautiful stitching look that you get with the die. I also wanted to point out that this die set comes with a handy little bonus in the center, a small rectangle that just has piercing around the outer edges. And I think this makes it the perfect size and design for adding a sentiment to a card. And I've done just that on this card. A touch of inking around the outer perimeter of that rectangle, along with the piercing provided by the die itself, really finishes off the sentiment, and I think also finishes off this card. This next die, Curved Stitch, offers so many design possibilities. On this card, I used both pieces that remained after running it through my die cutting machine. By separating them just a bit, it created the perfect place for me to nestle in my tulips and my green leafy background. And again, this is another die where I think it's helpful to see the actual metal die itself. So here's a snapshot of mine. The center of the die cuts the paper while also adding the stitching on the top and the bottom of the curve. So here are a few more examples and ideas using this die. On this card, I used just one of the curved panels, and I used it vertically here for a unique look. And on this coming card, I layered several of the curved pieces at different heights and angles to create the look of waves in the water. And I've done the same thing here, only instead of water, I've used the die to create hills for my scene. Now this next creative die set, Stitched Square and Circles, also offers tons of design possibilities. Besides using the dies to cut basic stitched panels, which are great in themselves, you can also create frames with this set too. So here's a snapshot of my actual metal dies to give a better look at what comes in this set. This set also includes a square die, which is not shown in this picture here, but I'll show it just a minute a little bit later in this video. And as I mentioned before, you can use the dies to cut frames as shown on the photo here on the left. Just run two dies together through your die cutting machine at the same time. And to create a panel, simply run one die through it once, as shown on the right. So for this card, I've created a circular frame and then positioned it onto the square stitched panel, die cut using the same set. And here's another circular card created using the largest circle in the set. And on this next card, I've used just the large square to add interest to my nearly one layer stamped and watercolored scene. So now here's a look at the square metal die that comes with the set. I mentioned I'd show that to you. And as shown on the bird card we just looked at, you can use the square alone to create a basic stitched panel, which is really great for one layer cards. You can also position any of the circles that come with the set inside of the square to create a square card base with an interior circle frame. So here's an example where I've done that. So this card features the square die with the largest circle die cut from the inside. Thanks so much for taking a peek at just a few of the creative dies from our new collection, Sweet Spring. Be sure to visit our blog for more details about this release to enter our giveaway, and stay tuned for more videos where we will be sharing a closer look at all of the dies and all of the stamps which are part of this collection. All of these new products will be available in our online store beginning Friday, February 16th. And if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. You can also connect with Penny Black on our website, blog, Facebook page, on Instagram, Twitter, shop our online store, and see lots of card making tutorials here on our YouTube channel. And I'll link all of those for you in the YouTube description box below. Happy stamping and die cutting!